Hi everyone. Well, here we are back in lockdown, a bit of deja vu. Hopefully this lockdown hasn't been too triggering for you in terms of some of those memories of what occurred last year. And fingers crossed that this is just a short 7-day circuit breaker lockdown as described by the acting Premier. I wanted to use this opportunity to recap on what, to be honest, has been a really great year so far. Having kids back at school in classrooms with their teachers, with their classmates has been something we've been very appreciative of, and certainly don't lose sight of the fact that many children, many schools, many countries around the world have been in lockdown, haven't been able to do what we've been able to do. Kids have been able to go on camps, excursions. We've had activities like the fun run. Kids are in the kitchen garden. Parents are on site helping with all manner of school activities. It's really been quite amazing, and we are very appreciative of the fact that we've been able to do that. This year hasn't been without challenge. We know from our observations and from our experience on the ground here at school that kids have needed a lot of support socially and emotionally. The big emotions, the small conflicts, the big conflicts have been harder for kids to be able to handle this year more than they have in other years. I've got I guess the perspective of being here for nearly 10 years. I haven't seen as much need as what I have this year, and that's just a reality of what's going on in the world. And we expected it, and we're ready for it. We've got a very experienced staff. We've got strong approaches with regards to wellbeing through visible wellbeing, respectful relationships program, units of inquiry designed specifically to equip kids with relationship skills, how to build relationships, how to maintain relationships, how to fix relationships when they go wrong. That's been very much our focus this year, as well as, of course, getting stuck into the core curriculum, which we know that the kids love as well. But it has been a bit of a challenge, and our kids need a lot of support, a lot of proactive support, and certainly a lot of compassion from the adults around them, a lot of positive role modelling so that they do get through this period of time in developing hopefully some skills which are going to, I guess, stand them in really good stead for successful futures in primary school and beyond primary school, of course. Some of the other challenges that we've had relate to increased illness, student illness. So I know kids have spent more time away from school with sniffly noses and the like. My kids have missed more school than what I would have hoped, but it is a reality. It's just part of what is going on in the world. We know that kids need to stay away until they are symptom-free. That's a challenge, but again, it's a challenge we need to accept and roll with. The same goes for our teaching staff and support staff. They've certainly missed more days of work this year than they have in previous years, and that's something we can't avoid, particularly if kids are coming to school with snotty noses. That usually results in teachers ending up with snotty noses, which means that they're away from work, which isn't ideal for anyone. And we understand that that can be frustrating, it can be disappointing, but it is a reality that we need to accept. The challenge that comes with that reality is that there is a national shortage of relief teachers because of this increased absence and this increased illness, which is causing teachers to stay away from work, get COVID tests and the like. Thankfully, we've always been able to replace teachers when they've been unwell. We haven't needed to split classes or use any of those strategies to manage teacher absence. But it means that sometimes we can't get the relief teachers that we would like when there's an extended absence. Whereas in the past, we might be able to book someone for a whole week and not have to worry. That has been a little bit more problematic this year. And again, I know that that's frustrating, particularly if there's multiple different teachers in a week, but it's something that we're doing our best to, I guess, mitigate against, but it is a reality of the current climate and one that we do need to accept and understand. So I thank you for your patience as we manage and navigate that challenge. With regards to the upcoming period of remote learning, my number one message to families is to do what you can to get through the next week so that as a family you're feeling really I guess together, connected and on top of whatever your home-based challenges might be. Now, for some of you, it might mean that you just have to go, no, we can't do remote learning for a week. We just need to focus on each other. We need to be exercising outside, playing, cooking together, doing things that we know are going to be good for our family emotionally. On the other hand, if you and your kids are well up for getting into remote learning tasks, then our teachers are very well planned, they're very prepared, and they'll look forward to seeing your children at 9 or just after 9 on Monday morning via Zoom. The way that we've structured our approach to remote learning, as in previous times, albeit we've got some new tools that we might be using with your students to support their learning, we adopt a balanced approach that doesn't rely on kids being on devices for too long. We have very serious concerns about kids spending too much time on devices. The impact that we've seen this year as kids have come back to school is that they're struggling to manage and to regulate their emotions. Now, I know that this is something that we've hypothesized about and something that you can't say for sure is the cause, but one thing that we do believe is that time on devices is decreasing kids' inability to be able to regulate their emotions when they're off their devices. In some cases, when they're on a game, they might experience disappointment, frustration, anger. The game itself almost regulates the emotion for them, and the child becomes quite passive, and the emotions might become neutralized, but it doesn't mean that the child has developed an appropriate strategy to be able to manage themselves in a difficult situation. And we see that when they're away from their device at school, particularly if they've been on it quite a lot at home, that they experience disappointment, anger, frustration, and it's like an explosion for them. They just don't have the resources or the skills to be able to manage it. And we see that fall out here at school, and I'm sure, I have absolutely no doubt that you've seen that at home as well. So please be really wary of how much time your kids are spending on computers, being sedentary in their behaviour, but also zoned out in games or activities that may be impacting their ability to manage themselves emotionally. I know that as parents you'll make those judgment calls, but certainly encouraging you to think critically about what your kids might be doing when they are on a device and when they're at home having some free time. One other area around, digital wellbeing that I would like to talk about is limiting the amount of time kids are spending in chat groups. We saw kids as young as prep and year 1 in chat groups last year where there wasn't a high level of supervision. Now again, I bring no judgment to that. Last year was a really complex time. We did lots of things to make sure that our kids stayed connected with each other. We've come out of that now, and we've got this short lockdown in front of us right now, but we can scale back some of those digital behaviours, particularly the interactional behaviours where they are in chat groups, unsupervised chat groups. Invariably, those chats, they end up going wrong and the kids end up quite upset, and their relationships with each other can really suffer. So please, really scale back the amount of time kids are on devices, but also when they're in chat groups. And this goes for year 6, 5 and 6 kids as well. I admit I'm a bit of a tyrant when it comes to chat groups with my own kids, and we have a high level of supervision around that. And you know what? I'm quite happy to be that bad guy, because I think there is plenty of time for them as they go into their teen years to be experimenting with chat groups. But right now, most of them don't have the maturity to be able to really manage and navigate those platforms successfully without a high degree of adult support and mentoring. So please, be the bad guy, and if you can't be the bad guy, blame me. Just say Mr. Wicker said, and I'm completely happy with that, if that's easiest for you. With regards to your own well-being as families, if you do need support, please feel encouraged to reach out. You know that support is here. Also, if it's a little more serious, please contact your health professional to get the support that you need to be at your best as an individual, but also as a parent. It's never been a more demanding time for parents, and I want you to know that support is here for you. I've zoomed into families before to have a chat to kids if they've been quite challenging in the way in which they're behaving or the way that they're treating siblings. I'm happy to zoom in, have a chat to them. If that's helpful for you, just reach out. Whatever it is you need, we're here for you. Take care, enjoy the weekend ahead. Hopefully next week, the short period of remote learning, you can have some fun with your kids. Don't need to take it too seriously. It'll just be a short period. We're going to be very optimistic about that. We'll look forward to seeing you all back at school in just over a week's time. Take care. Bye for now.